Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live, as always, downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Thanks for watching the show on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158. And every Wednesday at this time, our weekly conversation with Vito's son, the great Sal Palantonio, joins the program now on the Progressive Guest Line. Happy week 2, Sal. Thanks for the time as always. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. How are you guys? How's life at Circa? How's it going there?
Pretty well. Let's look at this. Let's begin. You're going to be on the Seahawks-Steelers game this week for ESPN and ESPN Radio, but let's begin with the Eagles first. After that win last Thursday against the Cowboys, good game, down to the wire. They're getting a Chiefs team now coming back home after a loss in Brazil, and they did not look so hot. With that said, do you think the champs should be a 1-point favorite on the road against Patrick Mahomes and company?
Well, first of all, this game should be in Philadelphia. I just can't believe that the Eagles have to travel to Kansas City week 2 to play the team that they waxed in Super Bowl 59. They did, and I'm not an Eagles fan, but that's just flat out unfair. They didn't lose the game. To the victor go the spoils. I mean, that's to me. And I understand that Kansas City was in Brazil last week. Okay, well, then have this game be later in the year so that Kansas City can travel to Philadelphia. But here's the thing about the Eagles that I'll just mention. They really are a team right now, gentlemen, that finds a way to win. They are 17-1 in their last 18 games. Best 18-game stretch in franchise history. And you got Mahomes as a rare home dog, but he's so tough to beat at home. And he's 11-4, 7.33 winning percentage in the previous 15 games that he's an underdog. This is the 16th time Mahomes in his career, including the playoffs, is an underdog. He's 11-4, 7.33 winning percentage in the previous 15 games. Best record by any starting quarterback in the Super Bowl era as a dog.
That's good.
Pretty amazing.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad. Well, do you think, what's the matchup look like on paper going into this game compared to last year when these two teams were playing in the Super Bowl?
All right, let's look at it from the Kansas City Chiefs offensive perspective. Number one, can they block? Can they protect Patrick Mahomes II? So the strong suit of the Eagles in the Super Bowl was the pass rush. That has now been weakened considerably. I know they signed Zadarius Smith. They will have Jalen Carter in the game, 100% gold-plated sure of that happening. They'll have him in the game, so that's going to change the way the Eagles' pass rush will look when you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys game on Thursday night. I think if the Eagles had Carter in that game, they would have blown the Cowboys out the building. I really do.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's strong.
Yeah. Well, because Jalen Carter, gentlemen, is the most double-team defensive tackle in the NFL. You double-team him, that opens up all kinds of windows for the pass rush. There's a reason why Josh Sweat looked like a Super Bowl MVP. It's because of Jalen Carter. There's a reason why Milton Williams looked like a Super Bowl MVP. It's because of Jalen Carter. So they got to protect Patrick Mahomes II, and I think that's going to be difficult. I think Jalen Carter and these guys are going to be saying, listen, we didn't show our best against Dallas. Carter was out of the game. Everybody thinks it was a fluke, that we steamrolled them in Super Bowl 59. Not so much. The other thing you got to look at is all the injuries at wide receiver for the Chiefs. The problem is the Eagles secondary is still a work in progress.
Yep.
Vic Fangio's still trying to figure out who his starting left corner is. They're still trying to figure out who the other safety is opposite Reed Blankenship. So I don't think that that's a matchup that the Eagles can take advantage of. Here's where the Eagles can take care of business, and that is in running the football when the Eagles are on offense. I think the Eagles have proven over and over again this dual threat of Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley and this offensive line, they can beat you all of the time because they have so many options. As we like to say in the neighborhood, gentlemen, options do not discriminate. And they got options in that running game.
Yeah.
And if you saw in Super Bowl 59, you asked me about matchups, and that's my forte because I'm the host of the matchup show. I've looked at that film over and over again. When Steve Spagnuolo stacked the box to try to stop Saquon, which he did, Jalen Hurts went over the top to Devontae Smith. And in this game, you watch, they will feed the ball to A.J. Brown. They will do everything they can to have A.J. Brown have more than 10 touches in this game, either in the passing game or any kind of creative way to get him the football. A.J. Brown will be featured in this game. Whenever they squawk about A.J. Brown not getting the ball, the Eagles have responded in the past, and I expect them to try to do that in this game.
He's $1.05 to have 70 yards. That's where I was going, Sal. I reached out to your mailman and also cousin Ralphie. A little bit concerned about the new offensive coordinator. Is there talk there about how bad they looked in the second half against Dallas, and maybe they miss Kellen Moore?
No.
Okay.
The short answer to that is no to your specific question. Whenever you have a new offensive coordinator, however, there are going to be growing pains, especially when you're going against a defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, who coached with Nick Sirianni for 3 years in Indianapolis. And Sirianni basically runs the same kind of passing concepts that he did in Indy. And they did a great job, Dallas, I thought, of matching up to the routes. But they have to open things up a little bit, and they will, because Spagnuolo's not going to let Saquon beat them. And if he decides, you know what, I know they're going to go after A.J. Brown, they'll beat him with Saquon Barkley. I like the Eagles in this game. I do.
Strong opinion, great breakdown. You're the best. That's why you're a Hall of Famer. He's on the Progressive Guest Line, Sal Palantonio. How about the game you're doing with Steve Levy? Seattle and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh looked great offensively. DK Metcalf, all those weapons. Boswell hits from 60. Couldn't stop Fields, though. What do you think of the game that you'll be at in Pittsburgh, a home favorite?
Yeah, they are the home favorite, and that's why they went out and got Jabril Peppers. They had to shore up that secondary. That was an issue. They need another body who can tackle in the secondary. There's no question about that, and Peppers can bring the wood. So they're a different team at home. They were feeling their way through things defensively. A lot of new parts with Darius Slay. Darius Slay could not cover Garrett Wilson one-on-one. They ditched that idea after a while. Jalen Ramsey made some great plays in the fourth quarter. That's why you go out and get a Jalen Ramsey. That's why you have Aaron Rodgers to get 4 touchdown passes. Here's the thing that I saw that was very interesting that I think will really pay off in this game. I think there's some great chemistry working between Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator. Several times, and they didn't really show this on the broadcast because I went back and watched some of it. Several times after touchdowns or big plays, Aaron Rodgers would look over to the Steelers sideline and point to Arthur Smith. And then after the game, and here's a quote that didn't get reported as much because Rodgers gave that great quote. I was happy to beat everybody with the Jets today. He said, Arthur Smith called a perfect game. I was not perfect, but Coach Smith was. There's something going on between these two guys, and the clear adjustment that they made was Aaron Rodgers was getting swallowed up by the Jets' front seven. And so what they made in adjustments in the second half was get Aaron Rodgers out of the pocket. You saw a little boot action, little play action. You saw him roll out, those baby rollouts that Kirk Cousins likes. You're going to see that in this game against Seattle because McDonald likes to do the same kind of pass rush up the middle. Seattle's head coach who coached with the Ravens, he knows exactly what the Steelers are all about because he was there with the Ravens, and this will be a really interesting chess match. McDonald has not faced a quarterback like this who's so quick with the release and so accurate, and as you mentioned, so many weapons. You mentioned Metcalf, but the tight ends Freiermuth and Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, last year the Steelers never worked the middle of the field. Never. And now they're working the middle of the field.
Dynamite analysis as always. We have about a minute left here. News came down about an hour ago or so that Brock Purdy might miss multiple games for the 49ers. Have you heard anything beyond that, Sal?
No, I think it's a real problem for them. There's no question about it. They're gonna miss Brock Purdy, and that's gonna be big for the Niners. 100% problem, no question. Has the line moved?
Oh,
the news?
They're down to 3 on the road against the Saints.
Yeah. Saints could win that game.
Yes.
Yeah, you never know. Although I said this earlier in the previous hour, right before you came on, maybe we need to trust Kyle Shanahan with Mac Jones. He did this right in previous years with other quarterbacks.
Yeah. So I was asked a question last week about the new dynamic kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was somebody who called in or wrote in to you guys.
Yeah.
So you saw the numbers, right?
Yeah. It's a
in
record.
week 1, 75% of the kickoffs were returned, up from 33%. Right?
Yeah.
So I went back and I looked at it. The average starting field position last year was 29 yards. This year, 30.2. Now, scoring a touchdown from the 30-yard line is 22%. From the 35-yard line, it goes up to 27%, guys.
Great stuff. Sal, you're the best. Thank you.
Okay.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The Maestro, Mike Palm, coming up in 15 minutes. VP, Circa Las Vegas. So I made a bet, small, but I don't know if it's. I don't want to name names, but got a small bet in on A.J. Brown over 63.5 yards. Based on what Sal Palantonio was saying in the previous segment.
Mm-hmm.
Our buddy Adam Chernoff was always good about that, right? Because Adam always loved week 2 more than he loved week 1. Because you're sitting here thinking about week 1 for months and the numbers that are on the board. And then he wants the results to come in and then like the overreactions that take place. And a couple years ago, and Adam was very good at like listening to all these press conferences and pulling out like little sound bites from coaches like, okay, I'm going to file that one away. A couple years ago when Aaron Jones was with Green Bay, he did not get the ball that much. And Matt LaFleur made it a point after week 1 to say that we are absolutely going to get Aaron Jones the ball a lot more in week 2, and he's going to be a focal point of the offense. And Adam came on with us and said, maybe even a flyer like on most rushing yards. And he led the league in rushing yards for week 2 of that season. And what Sal said to compare to that made a lot of sense, right? A.J. Brown did nothing last week. And every time that he's limited, he comes back with a huge game. And this has been a guy who's been, obviously complaining on the sidelines before.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
There you go, right? So I'm going to be looking at A.J. Brown to lead the league this week in receiving yards, and that's why I popped a little bit over 63.5.
3-1 at DraftKings to have 100 yards. 2-1 to have 90.
Yeah, I probably when more books are going to be offering the ladder on him, I think as long as the numbers are okay, I'm probably going to do that as well. That one makes sense to me. But do you think the Chiefs should be dogs here at home?
Yeah, based on what happened in the Super Bowl and how they looked in Week 1 in Brazil. Yeah.
So I know Sal had his numbers
and the injuries.
I got some other ones. By the way, from looking this up earlier today, the numbers were all over the board. But what I found was Mahomes at home is a dog for only the 3rd time in his career at home. Our buddy Joe Osborne tweeted this earlier today. He has a higher sample size than Sal did, but Joey tweeted out the Chiefs are 14-5-1 ATS as a dog with 13 outright wins since Mahomes became the full-time starter in 2018. Whatever the numbers are, we know this. Mahomes is awesome in a spot like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't pretty for them against the Chargers.
Are you concerned with how the Philly offense looked in the second half? And there are, he's not hearing it, but there are people on social media who cover the sport saying they're going to miss Kellen Moore. And they didn't like what they saw game planning, getting guys open, not getting guys open, and how they were bailed out. Well, Dallas not just spying on Hurts and giving him 3 first downs on 3rd and short, 3rd and 5, no spy. Okay, I'll just take off and run. There it is.
I'm a big believer in coordinators in different spots, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait to see how this year's going to unravel or, I guess, unfold. Probably that's the more fair word to use here.
I saw one of the all-time results. The 1998 Vikings, that was one of the best offensive, only better, I think, was the 07 Pats. Common denominator, Randy Moss. You couldn't stop that team. Mm-hmm. They set the record for points. Brian Billick leaves. Oh, anyone can run this offensive. Ray Sherman takes over. Awful. Randall Cunningham got benched the next year. They couldn't do anything. Moss wasn't open. They eventually made the playoffs, but there was a big drop-off in what happened in performance and how long it took them, and that was, Ray Sherman didn't do a good job.
I'll give you another one, Pauly. And I know that people are all reacting to week 1, what we saw. Can you buy into this whatsoever with the Jets? Their new offensive coordinator is Tanner Engstrand. So he was hired in 2025, came over with Aaron Glenn. First year in the role. Guess who he was with previously? The Lions.
Uh-huh.
So it's like underneath that Ben Johnson tree.
Right.
A guy like this is going to be able to make it work maybe with Justin Fields. It's only one game. It looked really good.
Yeah. McVay part 2.
Of course, there you go.
All these guys who worked with McVay and getting in jobs and O'Connell, whatever. The joke was if you ever had a cup of coffee with McVay, you're now getting an NFL job.
That's right. So another trend here, vsin.com, Steve Makinen's numbers. In week 2 games between teams that are both 0-1 ATS, Dogs are on a run of 20-23 straight up, but 28-13-2 ATS, 68% since 2014. You're up almost 15 units. Teams in that spot this week, New England, Chicago, Seattle, and Kansas City, right? Mm-hmm. And can you imagine the Chiefs starting 0-2 to the season?
Yeah.
So, and if the Chargers win on Monday night, if they are to lose this game against the Eagles, they're going to be 0-2. They're basically 3 games behind the Chargers already. And so I mentioned the Patriots are in the same spot. What's the real reaction to have to both of those teams?
Yeah, right.
The Dolphins and the Patriots.
Well, maybe just May had a bad game. They couldn't run the ball. The weather played an issue. But now Vrabel's a good coach, and they'll fix it and take out a bad Miami team.
I was alarmed that he gave up on the game.
Can you believe that?
No, I could not.
I talked to Richie, our buddy Richie. He had big tickets on side, contest, and Survivor. He couldn't. He goes. I was in the bathroom. The guy punts down 2 scores from midfield with 4 minutes.
Yeah,
outrageous.
I had this as one of our. I did not bring it up on the air. We ran out of time. But one of my bold predictions in Do You Concur last week was the Patriots are going to realize they signed the wrong guy, Mike Vrabel, at the end of the year. Von Tobel, who's on before us, thinks he's one of the most overrated coaches in the league.
Oh, come on. No way. He's a very good coach. He just did something stupid.
I don't...
Look what Tennessee's at. Look what he did with Tennessee.
This, but I like the handicap of this game. Here's the thing. Like in week 2, like buying low on teams, but then which one's actually at rock bottom more? You got to say the Dolphins.
Right. Well, there's a lot of games like this. Also, the Detroit-Chicago game. I mean, the Bears had a lot of issues too.
Right.
But at least, Detroit was embarrassed and humbled. We didn't have a lot of blowouts like we normally do. And I mentioned that info from Klefta yesterday about don't stay calm. 7 of the last 8 years, a team has been blown out in week 1 and made the playoffs. So that's encouraging for Detroit. Just Miami's not there anyways on that level. But there's a couple games like that where it's what do I do? As both teams were lousy and struggled.
Mm-hmm. What do you want to do with totals this week? As the unders were the story, obviously, of week 1.
A lot of penalties. A lot of teams beating themselves. 2nd and long, 3rd and long. Bears did it, too, on Monday night. Pre-snap stuff. They got to fix that. Ton of that.
Yep.
What you saw. And you got to clean that up. But certainly, just like college, you saw it week 1 when it started. Defense ahead of the offenses.
Let me throw this one at you. Now, the number is around 42.5 or 43, so that can be, key area, obviously, in these football games. But the total in the Colts-Broncos game, that's the one I'm talking about right here.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're Sean Payton, I think you have to be conservative until Nix can look like he did last year. That was so bad.
I was going to say, it's only one game this year, but Nix was awful in week 1. What if that's a thing for him this year and there is some true year 2 regression with him? But on the flip side, like this Broncos defense is just an absolute wagon. And they're probably going to dictate in almost, in most of their games anyway, what's going to happen in these games and allow the opposing offenses to do basically nothing. And now here at Circa, they're down to a 1-point favorite, by the way, in the game.
Wow. And Cam Ward can move. He's elusive.
Yeah.
And for them to corral him and also sack him several times and knock them out of field goal range, that was impressive. So no doubt they're great defense. And we'll see if they can contain Jones now. But Nix has got to be better. It was just so disappointing offensively what they did against Tennessee, which was nothing.
Yep, and I'll give you this one too. The 49ers, because if you're just tuning in right now, the news on Brock Purdy does not look good. Shanahan said that he actually could miss multiple weeks. A long shot to play this week, in fact, and then added, could miss multiple weeks. The Niners brought in Mike White for a workout today. Shanahan said they'd like to add another quarterback with Brock Purdy hurt, but not sure they're going to be able to do so given other roster issues.
It's not a bad name with all the weapons they have. That's not bad.
No,
I'd rather have him like Curtis Rourke. Curtis Rourke's on the roster, but he's banged up, so you can't put him in there.
Like if that was their first phone call, I'm fine with that. Guy like Mike White to come in.
A couple of years ago he was good, but...
Well, sure, but it was also what year was Mac Jones good? Was it 2021?
Yeah, for about 8 games though. Remember how the season ended?
Right.
That was about it.
I think that's isn't that like the last time that Aaron Rodgers was MVP? 2021, 2022 in that neighborhood?
Yeah.
Like that's a while back now all of a sudden.
As the official horse racing partner of VSiN, First Bet is built for bettors who demand more. First Bet isn't just about placing a bet, it's about helping bettors of all levels. With handicapping tools that provide data-driven insights, help you make smarter bets. Their in-app tools give you win, place, and show probabilities for each runner so you can quickly and easily identify good value plays and improve your ROI. Claim your bonus now, promo code VSiN250 when you sign up in the First Bet app or at firstbet.com. Promo code VSiN250.
Mike Palm next, contest, week 1 results, and the night starts here beginning on the 19th of this month.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Thanks for checking out the show today on YouTube TV, Sirius XM channel 158, any of the terrestrial radio stations where you can find VSiN, TuneIn Radio as well, iHeartRadio. It is Wednesdays with the Maestro, as Mike Palm joins the program now, VP of Circa Las Vegas, the D and the Golden Gate. Good afternoon, Maestro. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mitch. Good afternoon, Paul. How are you?
Hey, Mike.
What do you make of this Brock Purdy news today? You guys went to 3 right away on this.
Yeah, well, it's been quite a difference, isn't it? I mean, they're the walking wounded coming off a win, making this trip. I mean, if they were fully healthy, don't you think this number... Look, San Francisco is higher power rated than Arizona coming into the year, right? Arizona's 6.5 at New Orleans. So was San Francisco supposed to be 7.5 at New Orleans, right? And it's 4, and it's 3.5, and it's 3. So I tend to think that he's not playing.
This or maybe next week. And they get Arizona at home next week.
Big game next week. Very big game in the division.
I would say so. Would you look at betting Rams or Cardinals right now to win the division? And boy, the Seahawks really gave one away last week.
You know, I have a Rams ticket. I made my Rams future bets when they were chopping Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
And I criticize myself now for my division bet, which was plus 205. Not that I have plus 205. But I forgot San Francisco was getting a 4th place schedule. I would have just made the NFC bet. I really wouldn't have made the division bet, knowing that the 49ers can probably just be decent and win 12 games with that schedule. It's so dependent on Stafford's health. I mean, they looked exactly like they were supposed to look. That was a good game. Look, outside of 3 games, every game was a great game in week 1. We talk about 98% in Survivor moved on. Unless you had Green Bay or you had the Colts, or you had the Commanders, you were not in control of any of those games. Yeah. Every team had the ball down 1 score in the last 2 minutes or a chance to win the game. All starting on Thursday night with Dallas.
That's right. Yeah.
Everybody had a shot. So the games were actually very competitive. I mean, and if you would have said the second most lopsided game was Green Bay Detroit, people wouldn't have believed you.
No kidding. So now the people that planned on fading the Saints in Survivor as often as possible, you can't do it this week.
You have to take a pause this week.
You do.
Absolutely. I think you can continue to fade Carolina, though, if you didn't use Arizona. That's the obvious choice to me. If you didn't use Arizona. I try to stay away from division games. You know, we talk about Cleveland and Baltimore. But if I had Arizona available, I would use Arizona this week. And I said I would. People laughed at me when I said Colts last week, that I would use some of my picks on Colts. Miami's really, really bad.
Yeah, awful.
Why don't you sniff that out?
There was a
ton of anti-Indy stuff out there.
Everybody anti-Indy because they think Daniel Jones sucked. Yeah. There's a reason Kevin O'Connell wanted him as his backup there, right? To have that safety valve, and didn't want Howell at all, moved him out. And I always thought he was going to be the starter in Indy, but the market reacted like, oh, it's the wrong decision. Anthony Richardson, you pick him fourth, you got to use him. Plus, everybody, all the signs around Miami and all the unrest on the reservation down there, and the alchemist, boy genius, barista coach, I think he's lost total control of that program down there, and they were putrid, especially offensively, putrid.
Yeah. Will more people in Survivor be on the Dolphins or the Saints this week? All 32 teams were selected last week.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Could you believe
they have to be double picks, though, right? I should have asked Jeff Benson to go research it.
Yeah.
But I thought they had to be people that were just trying to get by, hoping there was total chaos, and did the double option.
Well, how about the 10 on the Saints?
Well,
is there something there?
I think there was a mistake there, but
how about
people came in. Some people came in late in the afternoon on Thursday, bought in, and hit the wrong button at the kiosk.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Oh, that is true.
I texted Pauly when it happened.
Oh, okay.
The guy went up to Benson and said, no, I meant to hit Cardinals. Well, you can't change it. The only way you can change is if you put it in over the counter. Then you can change it. But if you do it on your phone or the kiosk, your picks are your picks. The system won't allow you to change it. So he went up to Jeff Benson and he said, oh, I meant Cardinals. And Jeff Benson said, nothing we can do. And he said, who dat? As he walked out.
Who dat? He just blew 10 grand.
Just burned 10,000.
He just burned 10,000.
So what do you do in his spot
Saints on accident?
Did you does he come over the top and just say?
What's he going to do? Put money line on
Arizona? Yeah.
I think.
Or he just said it.
You get that drunk. I thought the number of no picks was remarkably low.
I couldn't believe it.
Very good to everyone. 24. It's amazing.
What about the King in the North last year? Stevens thinks, talking to Benson, there's going to be a big uptick. Because now I'm not in town. I have to use the proxy. What proxy did I use?
More than 24? The King of the North is
saying? That's what he said.
Derek on the show yesterday, and if you missed it, you can go back and catch the Follow the Money podcast.
I don't watch. Go ahead.
I'm talking to the audience, not you. Okay. So, but they said they had a great explanation why they think the 24 no picks is going to go way up this week.
Benson thinks it as well?
Yeah. Very good.
Benson told them the reasons why.
Well, he knows what he's told.
I was, okay, interesting.
Fair.
Good comeback. Shot on the front end.
So I'd like to go under. I'll go under 24. Can I?
Sure.
Do I?
Okay.
This week, right? They're saying it's going to go up this week.
Yeah.
You got action.
I'll go under.
So we're talking to our lawyer friend from Illinois. We're going to see a lot of people out this year because we're going to have ties with the new rule. Both teams get the ball in overtime.
Yeah, and it's really, and the NFL overtime's become a 2-possession, right? I mean, people. What? Here's a question, though. What if I get the ball first?
Right.
And I take 9.5 minutes off the clock? Then the other team has 30 seconds? With both teams getting the ball, you're even more so. Team already tried to drain the clock on their first possession to not allow with the 10 minutes.
If you score and then I get the ball, am I going to be okay? If I score, am I going to go for 2 every time? Or
I mean, if you score first, do you go for 2?
I don't know. It's going to be wild to see how it plays out.
Well, you know what you have to defend then. You can't allow the touchdown if you go first and you go for the 2. It's an interesting theory.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, because then even if you allow a touchdown, then they got to double up, and then there you go, match you again.
Sure. But if you only get the 6, now all of a sudden you're playing if touchdown beats you.
Yeah, I wonder. There are some aggressive. Dan Campbell might go for 2.
Does Dan Campbell have a team that's good enough to get to it overtime? They've been stunning to me. The line did nothing.
Or to
score. The line got blown up the whole game.
I know.
Are the Packers that good, or are the Lions that bad?
Man, it's a lot of hype on Green Bay.
At halftime
right?
of the Bears game, I bet the Packers to win the division. At halftime of the Bears game on Monday night.
Why?
Well, because I wasn't overly impressed with either team in the first half of that game.
Yeah.
I give McCarthy credit. They hung in there.
Okay.
But the Bears let them hang in there. They did everything they could to allow Minnesota to still be in the game, and then Minnesota took advantage of it.
What'd you get, $1.20, even money?
I got plus 110.
Oh, you did?
Now it's minus 120 after the game was over.
Okay, good job, Maestro.
Yeah.
2-team race in that division. Said it yesterday.
Did you bet the exacta? Did you
No,
bet
that's a
did you
good
bet
one.
a Packer Viking? You can do
I'd
that.
have to do that,
Places have the exacta.
Yep, thank you. I will.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Very good. Tell us about what's going on at the Golden Gate.
Well, so they took the table games out.
Yep.
They had the farewell.
It was emotional.
Farewell to Arms Sunday night. Starting next Friday, the 19th, they're throwing a party every night at the Golden Gate from 6 to 7, and it's called Night Starts Here, or The Night. I don't think you need an article. But anyhow, so starting at 4 o'clock, you can come and get your wristband at the Players Club. You must be a Club 1 member. Free drinks from 6 to 7, plus you go up and you pick an envelope. And in that envelope will be between $5,000 and $1,000 in free play. Every night, 365 days a year.
You're
Get
kidding.
out of here.
No, I'm not kidding.
Every
it's
night.
going to be
God.
released on social media tomorrow, but I've given you guys a little sneak
Thanks
peek.
a lot.
How many envelopes
Thanks a
will have
lot.
$1,000 in it? Can you share that?
We have to get a gauge on how many people are going to be there, right? To really know that. I mean, if there's going to be 300 people, there may be a couple. If there's going to be 50 people, there's going to be at least one per night that'll be amongst the envelopes printed. That doesn't mean every envelope gets picked, right? Because
Right.
you want to
Okay.
try to overshoot a little bit. And I'm sure there'll be more people on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday than there are, Monday through Thursday, probably.
And an open bar every night for an hour.
It's correct. 6 to 7, 365 days. Open bar. No shots. Other than that, open bar.
Oh, so beer, wine,
it's not
whatever.
all and not the cheap stuff either. It's decent.
Really?
So,
Well,
and the envelope.
Yeah.
5 to
right.
1,000.
That's
There'll be
absolutely-
1,000. There'll be 500, 250, 150s.
Was there any resistance to this, or
No,
like
we,
this?
we want to create a party. We want to have everybody come see the new Golden Gate. The table games provided a lot of energy for that place, but economically, with the rising cost of labor and this minimum wage going up every year, it wasn't feasible anymore. We could use those dealers better at the D and at Circa, where there was more business, and you would drive more revenue per man hour. So we're going to create a really cool vibe. There might be a little expansion going on there. We might be able to create more of a little ultra lounge look there, but there are some things we're looking into. But we're going to kick it off next Friday, every night, 6 to 7.
Great job.
I can come
That's
down there
awesome. Wow.
every night of the year if I want.
Yeah, well, you'll be fighting for custody if you do that. So you do it within reason, Mitch.
This guy's Santa Claus.
Isn't
Incredible.
he? Isn't he?
We tried that Friday night thing a couple months ago.
I thought that really worked well.
It was
Is
fun.
that going to come back?
I don't know. Ask him. But
It's
it was
hard,
his
hard to
idea.
get a hold of people.
Right. Yeah. Apparently, it's hard. Yeah. Oh boy. But we did that thing in August, and he gave out $5,000 in free.
You
play.
were Santa Claus that night, right?
Yeah,
you
I
were
was
Santa
in charge
Claus.
of it.
Yep.
But it was I gave one person a voucher for $100. She goes, "Nah, what's the catch?" I go, "No catch. It's a free play." She gave it to security.
She thought she was getting scammed.
Yeah, she turned it in. I don't want this. It's It's $100 in a voucher. It's the same as cash. You put it in
It's
a
a
play.
Tito ticket.
People wouldn't take them. You should have seen this. It was nuts.
That's
Should have
bizarre.
filmed
Okay.
You should have filmed it.
All right, more with Mike Palm coming up next. The AP poll should finally be abolished. Mike explains why, and you cannot be serious and follow the money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. We continue with the maestro, Mike Palm, VP, Circa Las Vegas, the D, and the Golden Gate. We're going to get to You Cannot Be Serious coming up here in a moment. We've been betting the Giants. It's not looking good today, but we've been betting the Giants like to make the playoffs, and also I have the most wins in September. Anything there with you or no?
Well, you think they can catch the Mets?
Two back.
Well,
I think they could catch the Mets.
Damn
though,
right.
Do you have any to make playoffs on them?
yeah, we both
is.
do now.
Okay, well,
yeah.
that's good. I
Yeah.
think that's very live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have both them and the Padres to win the division. If the Padres keep blowing these games, I mean, the Dodgers are trying to hand it to them.
They are. They are.
I can't take this Padres team. I mean, last night, come on, guys.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yep. I'm with you.
All right.
I wanna
They've been. I'm saying they've been hot as It all can be here. They're averaging 8 runs a game in this 13-3 run, but they just don't have it today. Rodriguez is pitching a gym.
I want to ask you guys something about the W before we go to You Cannot Be Serious. It's a very interesting situation tomorrow night with the Lynx.
Okay.
They get to pick who they play in the first round.
They do. I thought you were going to go aces.
Well, aces can be the 2. Well, they can be if they win. They own it, but they have to win their last game. If they lose and Atlanta wins, Atlanta gets the 2. Anyhow, that's really irrelevant because the 2-3 is going to play each other. I guess it's home court in the second round.
Right, home court, yeah.
Minnesota plays Golden State, who's 7th.
Okay.
If they beat Golden State will be the 8, and they will have to play Golden State in the first round. If they let Golden State win the game, then Seattle's the 8, and they would play Seattle. So Minnesota can pick who they play in the first round. I would rather play Seattle.
In a heartbeat.
I think Golden State, although less talented, is so very well coached. And I can't believe you could have gotten Akasi all year at 2-1 for Coach of the Year, which the win total was 9.5, and they were always going to win 20 and possibly be in the playoff.
Oh, so Minnesota's laying 5.
Yeah, I would take the money line.
Right.
I think I would rather play Seattle, and that means Minnesota would lose that game, so they would play Seattle in the first round.
Right.
Just
so
sit everybody.
Huh?
Just sit everybody in the game.
Sit everybody.
Yeah.
They just did that against Indiana. Did you see that?
Right.
Yeah.
They played nobody, and Indiana beat them by 20.
Yeah.
So Golden State
do it again.
plus 225 on the money line tomorrow, final day of the regular season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I like
Okay.
it. I like it, my man.
But what about if Golden State says
No.
we don't want to play?
Huh?
Yeah, I think they're less in control of it than Minnesota is.
Okay. All right, here we go. It's time now for You Cannot Be Serious.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Number 1, in the year 2026, APAD. Mitch and Paul, you and I, the 3 of us are old enough to remember when the AP poll meant something. You would read the AP. At one point, it was used to determine the national champion. At one point, that and the coaches poll split it. Then we got into the area of BCS and all. And now it's more of an informational thing, but I still think it helps in informing a number a lot of times in the betting markets. I'm calling right now for the AP poll to be abolished. All right? Have you followed the story of this Haley Sawyer? There are 62 people that vote in the AP college football poll. Haley Sawyer is one of them. Haley Sawyer is a young woman that grew up in Pittsburgh. She graduated from Robert Morris. She's a freelance journalist who covers USC for several papers in Southern California. She's one of the 62 AP voters. 880 people vote for the Heisman. 62 people, and she's one of the 62 most qualified people to be an AP voter. Why did this come up? Because when the ballots came out this week, and at least give them credit, they published the ballots and everybody's votes every week. Last week, she had the Florida Gators ranked 16th. What happened to Florida last week? Well, they were 17-point home favorite. Sun Belt Billy Napier was against South Florida in the swamp, and they lost straight up. She moved them up in her poll. She moved them from 16th to 14th. So all of a sudden, people said, "Who the heck is this Haley Sawyer?" She privatized her Twitter account now, so you can't see her. But she did do an interview and gave a very compelling reason why she moved the Gators up. Can we listen?
But as far as what my votes are and what my process is, I wake up early in the morning after covering a game late in the night before. Don't want to go too much into my process or logic, but I will say I appreciate everybody's interaction on social media and all of your feedback. There's tons of people that vote on the AP poll, and it's not a perfect system, but at the end of the day, no matter who you pick, it does even out because there's so many people who vote. And like I said, it's really fun for discussion. It doesn't, probably matter in the end, but I'm glad that people are having a really good time with it.
Cool.
Are you kidding me? There's not tons of people. There are 62, and her answer is it really doesn't matter. Isn't it obvious she misread the score of the game and thought Florida won? How would she ever have moved them from 16th to 14th if they'd have lost the game? But this is who they choose to be one of the AP. She's probably one of the WNBA season-long voters as well, but they will never tell you. That's it. AP, you're done. Haley Sawyer.
You cannot be serious.
All right, number 2, a challenging debut. Everybody in Chicago was throwing the ticker tape parades when they hired Ben Johnson, and I got a lot of flack because I said, let's just slow it roll a little bit. We don't know if he's Andy Reid or if he's more Marty Morningweg or Adam Gase or Cam Cameron. You don't know what it's like going from being a coordinator to having to suddenly run the whole team and deal with media and deal with players in a different way and make game time decisions. So let's review 2 of them. I thought it's one of the worst challenges I've ever seen in the third quarter. The T.J. Hawkinson. Noel Sewell, the linebacker, comes up. Hawkinson has both knees. If you look at the still, and we can't show game footage, both knees on the ground, and Sewell comes in, punches the ball out, and the Bears recover it, right? He challenges this. It doesn't matter by rule. It doesn't matter if Sewell made contact with Hawkinson. The mere fact that he forced the ball out while Hawkinson was on the ground makes him, by rule, down by contact. Later, it comes out that Johnson admits that his coaching booth told him not to challenge, but he was carried away by the people on the sideline who told him to challenge. Yeah, that's what he admitted to. So he threw the flag. You think it was a factor? Would it have been nice to have another timeout? You're getting the ball back with 1:20 at your own 20-yard line instead of having it with under 30 seconds to go. And let's look at the other side of it. Now, this is interesting. I thought it was terrible of Johnson to blame Santos for not being able to kick the ball through the end zone. What are really the chances that Santos can get the ball through the end zone? 5%? Does he have a 5% chance of doing it? I don't think so. I think his only option there, if he doesn't want to onside, which, it's 4% chance of recovery, is to kick the ball out of bounds. Now, O'Connell made a good point. If they'd have kicked it out of bounds, I'd decline. And they have to re-kick. And then if they'd have kicked it out of bounds again, I'd decline. And they keep going back 5 yards until if they do it again, they can award them points, like they did with the going offsides against NFC Washington title. Against Philadelphia. Yeah. I think at that point, if he declined it, then you have to try the onside. But it was a terrible decision to kick it in the field of play. And then the Fox coverage. Why did they have to look to the sideline to know they were going to bring it out of the end zone, the Vikings? Oh, he's like a third base. Everybody knows anywhere in the field of play, you have to kill 2 seconds off the clock to get it under. But a very inauspicious debut for the head man in Chicago, Ben Johnson.
You cannot be serious.
And number 3, give the Sun Devil his due. You have to be, if you're an Arizona State fan, you fought your way back in Starkville from a horrific first half where you couldn't move the ball at all, trailing 17-0, to getting the lead with less than 2 minutes to go. You've got them 60 yards away with 39 seconds left. You're playing cover 2 the whole way down. They have no timeouts left. And what does Dillingham decide to do? They're going to blitz the free safety. Now, Saturday night, of course, Chapin hits Thompson. Nobody back. He catches the ball and walks into the end zone for the upset victory. By the way, great job by Stormy getting that interview. Chapin amidst the total chaos in Starkville that night. Very good job, Stormy. Congratulations. That night, on Saturday, Dillingham wouldn't comment. He just said, great play by the wide receiver. Then yesterday in Tempe, he said, I so wish we'd have stayed in our cover 2, but we thought if we can get to the passer with the blitz, the game's over because they didn't have any timeouts. If we would have let them get down the field and kick the field goal and then beat us in overtime, I would have said, why didn't I blitz? But of course, if I had to do it over again, you can't do that. You can't put your guys on an island like that. Make them make 3 plays to beat you. You tackle them in bounds. Remember, the clock starts again as soon as you spot it. Kenny Dillingham.
You cannot be serious.
Yeah.
Great job. I've been saying for so long, well, my buddy's out here in Las Vegas. Paul, you're part of the group as well, amongst other people who, in sports media and whatever, people who cover games in college football every single weekend have no business with an AP vote.
Can't watch the other 100 games.
They can't. It's not their fault that they can't watch them. They have a responsibility. Yeah. But with that comes this whole thing of not being able to catch up by Sunday morning and put your votes in. You're going to have no idea what happened across the country.
Yeah, it comes out Sunday afternoon. You got to have it in by 11 o'clock Sunday morning.
Sure.
Good job, Mike. Fake cappers are everywhere, lying about their records and scamming bettors. For the first time, there's a real solution. Juice Reel, the trusted marketplace for buying and selling picks with total transparency. On the Juice Reel app, every seller syncs their sportsbook account, their full betting history imported directly from the books. No fake records, no hype, just facts. The only way to sell picks is to prove you can win, and the only picks you can buy are from verified bettors with real results. The days of inflated profit claims are over. On Juice Reel, you can tail proven winners or get paid when others tail you. Download Juice Reel today. REEL, Juice Reel.
Michael, the grinder Mizrachi, in studio next. What he pulled off this summer during the WSOP was nothing short of miraculous. So good, in fact, he was immediately put into the Hall of Fame.